What's good, people? It's your boy Leroy coming back at you with another episode of Man Basics 101. And this topic is something that I've heard, I've seen, and I'm not quite understanding. So I had to talk to my people. I have to understand, where does this information come from? Toxic masculinity. Toxic masculinity is something that is thrown around and once again trying to apply to us as men, and I'm not understanding where it comes from. Now I'm gonna read straight from the page. We're gonna get right into it. I'm gonna read straight from the page because I don't want to get anything wrong. But the term, and you say, what is toxic masculinity? For all you who don't know, toxic masculinity means it refers to traditional masculine traits or norms that can be harmful to men, women, or society as a whole. Now, see, I've already got a problem right from the jump. You're talking about traditional masculine traits that can be harmful to society. What could we as men, our traits, our natural inborn traits, possibly do that could be toxic? Toxic, they use. And here's the word, toxic, to be harmful or unpleasant. So you're telling me a trait that I have as a man could possibly be unpleasant or harmful to the world as a whole? Really? Excuse me? Well, let's define some of these words. Let's define some of this information. So you might ask then, what exactly are masculine traits? The definition of masculine traits would be strength, courage, independence, leadership, assertiveness. Now, I was a firefighter. For those that don't know, I was a fireman for 10 years. I don't remember at any point somebody having a problem with me having leadership qualities, for me being assertive, for me having courage. In fact, those were essential to the job. So how could somebody put a spin on that and say that these norms or these traits are now toxic to the people around us? I'm not understanding. Help me out. If you know, please write it in the comments and let me know how these traits could possibly be a bad thing. Now, I was watching a YouTuber. I'm not going to say the channel because I don't really care. But they were trying to explain what this means exactly. And what they did is they used an example of, you look at the movie Back to the Future with Michael J. Fox. They used Biff, who's the antagonist or the bad guy in the movie, as an example of a man that displays toxic masculinity. I wasn't getting the connection. Biff was a jerk. That's what that was. You cannot associate someone who is a bully, someone who is treating someone bad, and just because he happens to be a man and go, oh, see, those are the kind of traits that make this world bad. It's those toxic masculinity issues. These men that think what? He was a jerk in the whole movie. No one liked him. So if you're applying this toxic masculinity to a butthead or a jerk or someone no one wants to be around, well, that can apply to women also. That has nothing to do with masculinity. So on that same note, if you want to use a fictional character or you want to use a movie role from back in the day, what about the Fonz from Happy Days? For those that are old enough, or if you're not, go ahead and look back at some of the TV shows of Happy Days. The Fonz was the main character in that TV show. He was the main person that everyone looked to. And what did he display? He displayed alpha, in fact, ultra masculine qualities that all the other men, Richie and all the other ones in the show, wanted to be like. Was he like Biff? Was he a bully? Was he a jerk? No. He was the good guy. He was the guy that everyone looked to. He defended the people that couldn't be defended. That's what he did. That's a masculine trait. So how did we get to a point where all of a sudden the qualities that made us men to be a good thing, a strong thing, now become toxic to the rest of the world? On the flip side, is there such thing as toxic femininity? And just in case you don't know, the word feminine, it means gentleness, empathy, humility, sensitivity. Can you go, oh my God, this woman, did you see how sensitive she was? The humility of this woman. Only could that be a bad thing. That, you know what, that's toxic. I don't want my kids, I don't want my husband around that. As a society as a whole, we don't need people showing ultra humility, sensitivity. It's ridiculous. Now see, that sounds dumb. That sounds silly. But yet, when a man displays courage, when a man displays assertiveness, not in a jerk way, but in a way that says, I'm being strong, I'm confident, now that becomes toxic. Don't compare someone who's a crackhead, someone who's a jerk, someone who no one likes, and compare that and say that's toxic manhood. That has nothing to do with manhood. But I will tell you something that has to do with manhood. Once again, back in the day, before everybody had to have these terms for everything, a man not only displayed these qualities, a man, mind you, a man, not someone who's a boy, but a man who is mature, a man who is striving to embrace who he is and give the world something because of it. We used to call them gentlemen. They had chivalry. Well, once again, what is a gentleman? If you look up the word gentleman, it says a chivalrous, courteous, or honorable man. Now, is there anything wrong with chivalry? But yes, today they almost make it a bad thing. You hear people say chivalry is dead. You open a door for a woman and she says, I don't need that. Or she stands there and look at you. That's the problem we are in today. That's the world we live in today, where people are confusing a trait, a good trait, with something that all of a sudden now can be toxic to the world as a whole. Let's take it a step further. Back in the day, in the early 2000s, people always want to label something. Now, back then, they had what they call metrosexuals. Now, people don't use that much anymore today, but that was something that was coined. So what was a metrosexual? A metrosexual, once again, if you look it up, was a man who displayed feminine qualities. A man who shows or displays, usually in an urban setting, an overabundant need to take care of themselves meticulously. Wait, so now, at least back then, there was an issue with a man that took the time to take care of himself. That's what this channel is all about. There is absolutely nothing wrong with a man who moisturizes, but yet somebody who saw that felt the need to give him a label and say, okay, he's a metrosexual. He's not man enough. There's no such thing as man enough. It's being a man. There's no such thing as toxic masculinity. You have bad people, men and women. You have people that are jerks. You have people that don't display humility. You have people that take assertiveness to the next level and now take their assertiveness up to downgrade or pull somebody else down. That's not what we're talking about. That is not toxic masculinity. That's called being toxic, period. No one wants to be around that person. But what I have an issue with is don't apply a term of toxic masculinity and say it applies to me as a man, that we are inherently dangerous or we inherently are violent. That is not the case. Each man is raised in a way that should display the qualities of what this just said. Those traditional roles that are no longer applied to today. When a man in a good way says that he's strong, that he has courage, that he has independence. I've been married for 25 years. And at no point did my wife go, hey, dude, slow down on all that courage, man. Slow down on all that independence. I don't like it. You're toxic to the family. Absolutely not. So men, I'm going to make this short and sweet. Enjoy who you are. Enjoy the traits that make you what you are. Women, do the same. Enjoy being sensitive. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, my mother, all the women in my family are some of the strongest women I know. But at the same time, strength and sensitivity, humility and being kind are not bad or good traits, or not bad in the sense that it causes someone to be too much, to be toxic. No. So a man can be courageous. He can be independent. He can be assertive. He can be strong. But if it's done in the right way, it's a beautiful thing. So man, keep doing what you're doing. Keep coming back to my channel. Keep giving me the suggestions, people. I love it. I saw this topic. I had to touch on it. And smash that like button. Just tell me what you liked. Tell me what you didn't like. Give me some comments. Give me some feedback. And as always, and with everything man related, if you ever lose your way, I'll point you in the right direction. I'm out.